sucker branch grows between the main stem and a primary branch. So there's one that's dead. I'm going to just cut it off because it's dead. And primary branch is here. The sucker grows between the crotch, and if you look close, you'll always see them kind of popping through. Like here's the beginnings of a sucker starting right in there. What we do on ours is, as they grow, you get the fruit on the bottom sets first, and then there's less mature fruit, and then on the top you got flowers. Once we start to get good fruit sets here, I'll actually come in and prune all the branches in there. So come in here and just cut this stuff.
We actually.
Do you do this?
Yeah, we should have done it already.
Okay, so I'm not doing what you don't do, because some people do things differently.
No.
So in some climates where they get too much sun, they don't like to do that because then they're worried about scalding on the tomatoes. But for us, like in Canada, that's not really an issue that much.
Yeah, do you count the amount of leaves that you have, like when you start pruning from the bottom, so you don't prune?
I don't, but many people do. Like I'm not super scientific with the tomatoes. Like I've learned from Roger, my tomato guy, and it's pretty intuitive. But you know, basically once I start to see good fruit clusters, then I'm just coming in here and pruning all the leaves off beneath them, and I want that for a couple reasons. One is it increases airflow down below. Oh, so here's just a big sucker that needs to come off. It gets airflow down below, which helps prevent disease and any problems on the tomato. The sun getting on the fruits actually helps them ripen quicker. And the thing that I love from a production standpoint is because we're going to pick these fruits, you know, if they keep getting sunny weather, these should be good in like 10 days to 2 weeks. Those should ripen up. And it'll happen quite fast. And so if I go through and clean out, say, this bottom meter, clean it right out, strip off any stuff, like, you know, Roger, he would come in and he would pull that, like he would get that off, just a couple fruits on there. It's kind of uneven. He would and just prune all this stuff. The best thing is once you do that and you go through do that row, now I can easily look at those tomatoes. Yeah. So from a weekly succession standpoint, it's great for your planning because you can walk in your greenhouse and look down that row and go, I mean, I can't do it now, but I'll just pretend. I'll go, yeah, I got about 50 pounds of tomatoes right there because I can see them, right? If you can't see them, you don't know what's there. But you get an eye for production as a farmer because you harvested this so many times, and you track your yields, you remember these things and you can record them. And so it's great because I can walk down my rows and go, okay, I've got probably 30 pounds of cherries there. I've probably got 50 pounds of saladettes there. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. So that's a really big advantage of doing that cleaning up, just from a practical standpoint. But it also has a benefit to the growing as well by doing that. And so that's essentially hard pruning. And so what'll happen is, as these tomatoes keep growing, they'll make their way up here, and then there's a cutoff point. And so, like Richard was kind of talking about it there, but it's like, at a certain point, you get diminishing returns on the likelihood of a flower that's, like, say this plant gets up here, and we're starting to see these flowers, and it's late August, you probably go, in this climate, you'd go, that's most likely not going to make it to a ripened fruit. So, cut your losses. So what you'll actually do is one or two things. You'll either just prune those, because you might want to keep the top to photosynthesize. You'll either prune this, or you'll just cut the top off, which doesn't kill the plant, but it makes it from continuing to grow. And so at that point, you're forcing it into a reproductive mode. And then it's all it's going to do is put its energy into ripening its last set of fruit. And you actually do the same thing with any nightshades. With, well, eggplants and peppers, you do the same thing. So everybody who grows those crops, they figure out what that diminishing returns date is, and then that's when they top everything. And then you're basically just going, I'm just going to focus on getting the ripened fruit that I have now, because that's my priority. I don't care about hoping that the ones on the top are going to get it. You just top them, and then the plant goes, I need to reproduce myself, and then it actually ripens its fruit faster, because that's what its ecological niche is to reproduce itself. And then you get your ripened fruit, and then there's actually less cleanup at the end, which is good. That's another reason for doing all this, is that tomatoes are a fucking mess. At the end of the season, cleaning out a tomato greenhouse is a dirty job because, like, I personally am semi-allergic to this, so I've never enjoyed it. And if I have, when I did, I always wear long sleeves and pants and gloves. But it's a dirty job getting all the stuff out. So by hard pruning and cleaning this up, like, I'll just do this one as I would do it at home right now. So I would come in here and get all this shit off. Just kind of show you how I would make this one look. It'd probably be like that. A bit of foliage. See, they've got some leaf curl in here. That's probably from stress. It's probably from lack of water. It could be also because the soil beneath here is so, they just built on fill basically, or really hard packed clay. So these roots might not be getting to their optimal depth. But that aside, that's more or less what we're looking for. And I'm going to come in and make sure that there's no other suckers in there. And you're just moving along.